1. What is cellular respiration? Cellular respiration is a series of oxidation-reduction reactions by which living cells obtain energy through the breakdown of organic matter. 2. What is the primary respiratory fuel in cellular respiration? Glucose is the primary respiratory fuel. 3. What are the two types of cellular respiration? The two types are aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. 4. What is glycolysis? Glycolysis is the initial step in cellular respiration where glucose is broken into two pyruvate molecules. 5. What determines the pathway of pyruvate breakdown? The availability of oxygen and the kind of organism determine the pathway. 6. What are the final products of aerobic respiration? Carbon dioxide, water, and a large amount of energy, 36 ATPs in eukaryotes and 38 ATPs in prokaryotes. 7. What are the final products of anaerobic respiration? Lactic acid or ethanol and carbon dioxide, with the release of only 2 ATPs. Anaerobic respiration. 8. What is anaerobic respiration? It is the incomplete breakdown of glucose in the absence of oxygen. 9. What is another name for anaerobic respiration? Fermentation. 10. Which organisms perform anaerobic respiration? Many microorganisms, like bacteria and yeast, muscle cells of vertebrates, and higher plant cells. 11. What are the two types of fermentation? Lactic acid fermentation and alcoholic fermentation. 12. What happens during lactic acid fermentation? Pyruvate is reduced by NADH to form lactic acid. 14. In which conditions does lactic acid fermentation occur in human muscles? During strenuous exercise when oxygen supply is exhausted. 15. What is the effect of lactic acid accumulation in muscles? It causes muscle fatigue and pain. 16. What happens during alcoholic fermentation? Pyruvate is decarboxylated to acetaldehyde and then reduced by NADH to ethanol. 18. Where does alcoholic fermentation occur? In yeast cells. Aerobic respiration. 19. What is aerobic respiration? It is the complete oxidative breakdown of glucose into carbon dioxide and water, releasing a large amount of energy. 20. Where does aerobic respiration predominantly occur? In most organisms. 21. What are the four phases of aerobic respiration? Glycolysis, oxidation of pyruvates, Krebs cycle, and respiratory electron transport chain. Glycolysis. 22. Where does glycolysis occur? In the cytoplasm. 23. What are the two phases of glycolysis? Preparatory phase, investment phase, and oxidative phase, payoff phase. 24. What happens during the preparatory phase of glycolysis? 2 ATP molecules are consumed, and the end products are 2 molecules of G3P. 25. What happens during the oxidative phase of glycolysis? ATP is produced through substrate-level phosphorylation, and NADH is generated. 26. What is the enzyme that phosphorylates glucose in the first step of glycolysis? Hexokinase or glucokinase. 27. What is the product of glucose phosphorylation? Glucose 6-phosphate. 28. Which enzyme is responsible for the isomerization of glucose 6-phosphate? Phosphohexose isomerase. 29. What happens to fructose 6-phosphate in glycolysis? It is phosphorylated to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate by the enzyme phosphofructokinase. 30. What is the role of aldolase in glycolysis? It splits fructose 1,6-bisphosphate into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. 31. What happens to dihydroxyacetone phosphate in glycolysis? It is converted into G3P by phosphotriose isomerase. 32. What is substrate level phosphorylation in glycolysis? The direct synthesis of ATP from a phosphorylated substrate. 33. Which enzyme catalyzes the conversion of 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate to 3-phosphoglycerate? Phosphoglycerate kinase. 34. What is the final product of glycolysis? Pyruvate. Oxidation of pyruvate to acetyl-CoA. 35. Where does the oxidation of pyruvate occur? In the mitochondria. 36. How does pyruvate enter the mitochondria? Through active transport by pyruvate translocase. 37. What happens during the oxidation of pyruvate? Pyruvate undergoes decarboxylation to form acetaldehyde, which is then oxidized to produce acetyl and NADH. 38. What is the role of coenzyme A in pyruvate oxidation? It combines with the acetyl group to form acetyl-CoA. 39. Which enzyme complex catalyzes pyruvate oxidation? Pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. 40. What is the link reaction in cellular respiration? The process of converting pyruvate to acetyl-CoA, linking glycolysis to the Krebs cycle.